Almost everyone is familiar with The Witcher 3's crones, their twisted and evil behavior, and them eating children. And it seems like they are not the only ones doing this. The annual feast of the Sabbath might be more widespread than just the crones in their realm of Velen. It seems like other witches also celebrate their own versions of the Sabbath. And whilst the crones started the Sabbath to worship their mother, she who knows, these witches hold their feast in honor of Yaga the Witch Queen. We don't really know who this Witch Queen is, and from where she rules. But based on the cards released from the monster faction in Gwent, it is most likely that she lives in some kind of swamp. Probably either Velen, Engren, or maybe Peer Plut in Ebbing. After all, by the time The Witcher 3 comes to an end, the crone's influence over Velen is almost completely gone, with either one or none of the sisters remaining. And the ruling power in Engren, Garnicora, who resided in Iskith, has been gone for at least 5 years. This group of witches looks like they have been around for quite some time. A variety of them seem to act similar to the crones, as they, just like the crones, would eat children, and show up most of the time in their hideous form, and on the Sabbath would they turn into their more beautiful younger versions. The exact origins of these witches and their queen Yaga is not known. She who knows only ever created 3 daughters, and she herself was a one-of-a-kind creature. She roamed the continent for centuries in search of anyone or any being or creature that resembled her, only settling down and creating the crones sometime after the conjunction of the spheres. And based on the fact that these witches train new ones, it seems likely that they were all humans at first, before in some way becoming corrupted to look similar to the crones. But them training new witches doesn't mean that the first ones and the Queen Yaga were human in origin. In The Witcher 3, the lore entry of the crones states, "The isolated corners of our world harbor creatures older than humans, older than the academies and mages, older than even elves and dwarves. The crones of Crookback Bog are such creatures. No one knows their true names, nor what breed of monstrosity they in fact are." It could be very well possible that Yaga and their witches were such creatures, and maybe they remain hidden from she who knows when she walked the continent. Based on what the card shows us, these witches lead their children away from villages, to eventually be consumed by themselves and their queen. The queen in fact has eaten so much that she is too fat to move from her throne, where she is being served by her lesser witches. The Gwent expansion introduces a variety of cards from the monster faction, and I assume that most of the cards are related to each other in some way. However, there are always exceptions. For example, the Syndicate faction, we got a few cards which weren't directly tied into the hills. Therefore, it is possible that not every card from the monster faction in this expansion has something to do with Yaga the Witch Queen. She Who Knows and Garnicora, or the Bloody Mistress, seem to be the unrelated ones, as far as I can tell at least. I am not so sure about Mamuna. She does kidnap children like the other cards, however in her voice lines she speaks of another world, possibly indicating that the children she takes are either not for the Sabbath and the Witch Queen, or that the Witch Queen lives in another world. It has to be kept in mind that Mamuna could be lying, and that she only teleports them to the Witch Queen and not a different world. After all, if you're going to eat them, lying isn't the worst thing you could do. She mentions to the children that they will help a good witch defeat a bad lion. This seems to be a Narnia reference, but it could be that the good witch in this case might refer to Yaga. The origin of the name Yaga is not hard to pin down, and it refers to Baba Yaga, perhaps one of the most well-known Slavic folklore creatures. The name Baba Yaga mostly seems to translate to something along the lines of grandmother witch. There have been a variety of different interpretations of Baba Yaga where she comes from, and the second part of her name in a variety of Slavic languages translates to witch, which would make Yaga the Witch Queen in The Witcher actually be Witch the Witch Queen, which sounds kind of fun. In folklore stories, the intentions and behavior of Baba Yaga can often differ. Sometimes she helps a hero with magical aid, and other times she's an evil witch who eats children. The latter one seems to be the inspiration for her Gwent card. There is a lot we don't know about Yaga the Witch Queen, and in my opinion, I would have rather had lore pages on her than She Who Knows, as the story of the Mother of Crones was mostly already told in Witcher 3, while Yaga is a completely new character. But who knows, they might use her in a future Witcher game. If she's actually as old and similar to she who knows in the crones, they could always fit her in somewhere at some point in time. It's not like she was going to die of old age. But what do you think of Yaga the Witch Queen? Would you like to see her appear in a future Witcher game? Or would you rather have that they do something more different than a new type of crone? Till the next video. Bye.